Hamilton, aka All That Chjazze, aka Lupus Slayer, coming to you tonight. Going to be having a phenomenal comedian named Andy Fitz, and he's also an activist for AIDS, HIV. And he's going to share his story and about his Stay Positive movement. There he is right there. Hey, Andy, I'm going to add you on. Let's see here. Me and my nails, honey, I can't do it. Yes, but I hope everybody's having a good time. There he is.
All right. Hello.
Hi, Andy. How are you?
I'm good. Let me know if my connection is bad because I'm in this little box at my job. So
No, I actually can see you pretty clearly.
sometimes,
It's just the lights that they have in there. Them things are beaming, boy.
yeah, yeah. All right. Let's see.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You would think for, I ain't going to say what station because I don't need them watching this and then getting in trouble, but you think for a TV station would have better lights.
Right, exactly, right. So how was your you spending time with your grandma? Your grandma actually pretty much raised you, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was fun. She's still in Chicago, so I'm trying to convince her to move out here. So I took her all over the place. So she's stubborn. She won't say that she like it, but I know she like
Right. She's trying to play hardball, right? Mm-hmm. Yes,
it.
but go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone.
For sure. I'm Andy Fed, first ever openly HIV positive born stand-up comedian. It was a long moniker. As I mentioned, I was born HIV positive. Got it from my mom, who in turn got it from a partner that did not tell her that he had the virus. And how do I put it? When we both got diagnosed, she didn't accept the fact that we both had it, so she did not take my or did not let me take my medicine, did not take hers, and so we both got super sick. I ended up fortunately recovering after going to finding a new doctor, and she unfortunately passed away from AIDS.
Oh,
And so started comedy. Then 20 years after her passing, I started what I call the keep child alive, the keeping it positive movement, and using my stand-up comedy platform to educate, empower, and educate, entertain, and empower people about HIV and AIDS.
that's awesome. And you said something very powerful too. You stated that, and I've heard people say this before, who children who get some type of chronic illness or disease, especially if they got it transmitted from their parents, that the parents a lot
Hmm.
of times would try to prevent them and keep them from getting their proper help and assistance that they need. And I never understood that. What state do you feel like your mom's mind was in when she was preventing you from being treated? Is it that she didn't want you to live and suffer through it, or is it she that she just didn't want to I mean, I don't know. My assumptions is that she didn't want to see you suffer
For sure.
through.
Well,
Hi, Melissa.
passed away. She was 26, I was 5, and so I got a lot of stories from like family members, especially my grandma and her best friend and my mom's best friend.
Mhm.
And what I got from it was that she, I guess, just couldn't believe that we both had, HIV. It's one thing for her to get it, but to pass it on to, her only
Mhm.
son, I think that's what really created a denial factor for her. And I was also told that, with the whole HIV thing, she just kept saying, well, I don't feel sick, so I don't need to take medicine. I don't need to take drugs. And my grandma was like, it's not drugs, it's medicine to keep you alive. So, you need to take this.
Gotcha.
So,
And I think she probably was in psychological state of shock and trauma, and and she
yeah,
didn't know how to process those feelings and those emotions. So to her,
yeah.
even though we know it's irrational, to her it was perfectly rational. And it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I take it under my assumption is that you have no ill will or any kind of anger or anything against your mom for doing that, right?
Right, for sure.
Yes.
I think of it as her just being young and scared. That's really about it. It was just her being young and scared.
Yes. Hi. Thanks. Yeah. And
Sorry, wait, we have people in the
oh
comments.
yeah. See, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Yeah. It's and you know I have a lot of admiration for you because you are a young man who is
Thank
forced to deal with something that you did not cause from your negligence, from your reckless behaviors or anything, but this is the card that you
Yeah,
dealt with in life. And instead of using that
yeah,
as an excuse to go out here, gang bang, get in trouble, and do all kind of crazy stuff, you took it and you made it into a positive movement. And I would love for you to share your
yeah.
movement with us.
Sure, yeah. As I mentioned, I started doing stand-up comedy 9 years ago in 2011.
Mhm.
And started when me and my buddy Larry in college, we was watching Kevin Hart, and we was like, you know what, we can do that. So we started a comedy club, and after I got my first laugh, it was addicting. You know, I just kept wanting to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And so 2018, 20 years after my mom passed away, I started keeping it positive. Where I went on Facebook and I just basically told people, hey, I was born HIV positive and y'all didn't know it. And this is me showing y'all that somebody that's HIV positive isn't sick, is still living a healthy life because y'all been my friends since then. So, yeah. And so started that using and then started incorporating my comedy into it. Some great accomplishments was like getting into the Las Vegas Review Journal newspaper.
Yeah.
I got to open for celebrity comedian Ray Grant twice.
That's awesome, right?
And then partnered with Alicia Keys' organization, Keep a Child Alive.
That's awesome, right? You know, and how old are you again?
I'm sorry?
How old are you again?
27. 28 next month.
27. So you've been embarking on this positive journey pretty much, I would say, even in your childhood, and you probably just didn't realize that it was going to expand the way it did, grow it to the extent that it has grown. And I have a lot of respect and admiration for you. Because,
thank you.
Like I said, it takes a whole lot of courage for anyone to, especially a chronic disease that can be transmitted. You know, it's contagious if within the right type of activity engaged, you know?
Yeah.
And so,
yeah,
it's really, it takes a lot of emotional and psychological strength for you to be like, you know what, I'm going to face this, and I'm not going to be afraid to let the world know that I have this chronic disease, this chronic illness. And for you to have that kind of bravery at such a young age and just be so courageous like that, what motivated you and gave you that push and gave you that drive and that inner strength and willpower to do that? Hello, thanks for watching.
What's up, Skip? I think I always tell people, like, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. You know, I believe in God. I believe that God, wrote out my life before I even knew it. And so I just remember hearing a weird voice, and it just said, "It's time." And I'm like, I already, when you hear it, you already know what they're talking about. So I'm like, why? Because all my life I've never shared my HIV status with anybody unless they were like close friends or family. So I'm like, why do I need to share this personal thing? And so I remember talking to my cousin, Tabitha, and I was telling her, hey, I think I'm about to share it with the world that I'm HIV positive and see where this
She
goes.
looked at you like,
And so well, the thing about my cousin Tabitha is that like I call her my cousin sister because like she's more of a sister
yeah.
than me to me than a cousin. So she was like, you know what, I'll support you. And so I remember I was sweating like R. Kelly at a Teen's Choice Awards. And I was like, do I want to do this? So I was typing on Facebook and I made the status, and sure enough, it was just a flood of support in the comments. And I was just like, well, I think this might be a sign that I need to do something with this. And that's how I keep it. I keep calling Keep a Child Alive. Keeping it positive started.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes. And I appreciate that because people don't understand. You don't have to have the same type of condition that somebody have to be able to understand that, and not understand the challenges of battling chronic, a chronic illness and disease, and sometimes the limitations that it can put on you, even when physically and even with your cognitiveness, especially once you start taking certain types of medication. You can start having withdrawals, or you can start having other symptoms that you wasn't having before, and then they got to treat that system and it's those symptoms, and then it's just like next thing you know, you find yourself taking 8 to 12 different types of medications a day, some of them multiple times a day, and then you just be like, how did I get here?
Yeah, exactly.
So for you to take all that in, and then we dealing with the racism that we deal with in this country, dealing with the stereotype that we deal with in this country, and you being a young melanin male man, that and living positively though, in a positive mindset with AIDS, HIV. Is it AIDS and HIV or just the AIDS?
Just HIV.
Okay, just the HIV, because it is a difference. A lot of people realize there's a difference.
Yes.
So having the HIV and being able to be so transparent with it, and still you be just, you live your life just as happy as people who don't have any of that going on. And I'm just like, what are you complaining about? Like, you need to shut the hell up. What you fussing and complaining about? Get up, dust yourself off, and keep, get going. You got people out here that's battling some real life challenges, and you up here complaining because you couldn't get certain rhinestones on your nails, or you could go and, buy some new Nikes that just came out. You complaining about stupid stuff. And you got people out here battling life-threatening illnesses and diseases that are living the hell out of their life. So you have no excuse. And and for you to do that, it's very encouraging to share your story. So I appreciate you, going all over the world, anywhere that will welcome you and allow you to, share your story. And I'm going to be expanding this out, because I'm getting back. This year was rough because, the pandemic, but hopefully next year things will be better by the summer. And then I'm going to invite you out, and, I go through your contract or however way you want me to go through and stuff, and whatever fees you charge, and we'll pay, and then we'll have you to come and, do a comedy routine. But also we want you to also educate people, because here in Atlanta it's very high HIV and AIDS here, very high, and Washington DC as well. So we got to get.
It's funny because I was actually contemplating with my wife about moving to Atlanta. So I don't know, but Vegas has my heart right now.
Yeah, y'all come on down here, because it, I really believe with your experience and the platform that you already have, I won't say necessarily it'll be the easiest transition, but you probably won't deal with a lot of the hiccups that other people deal with, because you already, you're already doing speaking engagements, you already doing comedy routines, you already have, a lot of experience in the entertainment industry under your belt. and then working at a
Yeah.
TV station. So you can find. Please, you go in college grad too. You can find work here in the 18. Honey, it'd be so easy for you. You'll be like, shoot, your wife be like, we should have been did that. She probably put you in the headlock after that.
Yeah, it's just the tornadoes. The tornadoes scare me at Atlanta and all the natural disaster stuff. I'm like, Vegas is just hell. I can deal with hell.
Now with your wife, it's how does she deal with criticism? Because I'm quite sure people look at her crazy and sideways sometimes and probably have the little whisper.
Mm-hmm.
How can you marry somebody who's positive? Has she dealt with any of that? Has she had any type of criticism that you know of or that you witnessed with her having to find herself defending herself for marrying you? You know, because sometimes I know people that has happened to. That's what I'm asking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, she tells me, that she'll tell, certain coworkers or whatever, what I'm doing as far as Andy Fred's brand goes. And they obviously will have a lot of questions, and she's negative. We've been married for 3 years and she's still negative. She'll just explain to them that, he's healthy, he's undetectable, and he's like a regular person.
Right, exactly. Because now, on that note, please explain the difference between HIV and AIDS for those who are ignorant. And when I say ignorant, not in an insulting way, but in the actual definition of the word,
right.
Meaning you just don't know. So those who are ignorant
for sure.
Those facts, can you please kind of like break that down so people can understand that there is a difference between HIV and AIDS?
Yeah, HIV is obviously a immunodeficiency virus. So it attacks your immune system, makes you susceptible to getting sick with other illnesses. AIDS is like the third step. I'm trying to remember all three of them. You got to forgive me because it's been a long week. So it's like HIV, the acute stage. I can't remember the latency stage. I think it is, and then AIDS itself. So AIDS is the third level of HIV, and that just means the body has been attacked by the virus for so long, and it's opening up your body to like now getting cancer and pneumonia and things like that.
Right. And now, and another thing too, I say ignorance. Again, I want people to understand something. AIDS was not created as a result of homosexuality. It was not. There was this European scientist / doctor that created this virus, and they often, back in history, they experimented on African people. They experimented on us, to see how the virus would spread, see what it would do, see how it could be treated and stuff. And that at that time, it wasn't illegal to use human for those type of medical experiments. But this particular science was not doing it for the experimental portion of it, though. He was doing it as a way as a genocide, to kill, so that the colonizers could come and take on different territory. And the reason why I had to state that is because people are under the misconception, the huge misconception, that AIDS started and HIV started from homosexuality. No, and bestiality. It did not start from that. It was a virus that was intentionally created to infect people as a way of genocide. That's why they even have biochemical weaponry. Why do you think they have chemical weaponry? These are things, you have SARS. How SARS was created during World War I when the Japanese bombed the hell out of China. And so, even with the coronavirus is created by SARS back during World War II. So none of these viruses that people thinking are new and that people have gotten because of some kind of reckless or negligent lifestyle, or as they call it, immoral lifestyle, what they consider immoral lifestyle. That's not why it was ever those diseases ever came about and created. What it is because they didn't want
Hmm.
people to know the truth. They created this rumor. It started as a rumor by, again, the same people that was lying, the westernizers,
Yeah.
the colonized westernizers created that rumor. And that's what they fed to the news. And the news continued to just spread it. And that's why it got so widespread. But I'm so glad that we have people like you who are able to break it down and educate people, because there are still people today, and I've heard them. You go out in the public sector, you bound to hear any kind of conversation these days. People be talking about they sling and their sexual activities, hanging out chandeliers and stuff. I don't care, whatever. But
Yeah.
I still hear people say, I don't want that gay man disease. I want that nasty disease. I ain't doing that because that's gay man disease. You get that from being a homosexual. All these homosexuals up here having AIDS and stuff like that. It's not that. It's because it's a homosexual disease. Because it isn't.
It's not even a
It,
sexual
it's
disease. Like I was born with it,
right.
you
It's not
know.
even.
Women can pass it on through breast milk. You know, transmit through dirty needles.
Right.
You know, so
Exactly.
that's what I'm trying to educate.
And contaminated. This is people. I just want to choke some people sometimes. Contaminated
Hmm.
needles can create diseases. It can cause diseases. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
even certain medications. Like lupus is one of those chronic diseases, deadly chronic diseases, illnesses that can be created
Yeah.
by medications. They are medically induced diseases and chronic illnesses, and AIDS is actually one of them. It was medically induced because that's how it was first ever introduced. So people got to learn and be
Yeah.
educated about that. And I really have so much respect for you. And it was so funny too because I was praying out of all the people that I've interviewed. We kind of found ourselves like struggling to get this interview, and I'm just like, why? Like, what interview? And I just knew it had to be something very powerful and something profound. And I was determined. I don't give up.
Yeah.
I'm a persistent person. If you can stick right, like you be like, okay, she just talking to me like she my mom. I'm like, who in the world you think you talk to, woman? But I was determined to get this done. And not only that, I never know sometimes like on my Facebook though, I have more people on my Facebook that watch it than
Hmm.
on Instagram, because I just really started getting into Instagram, but I have a
For
lot
sure.
more followers on Facebook. So, but I like the fact that I could take this video and I could share it on my Facebook platform and on my website, so people will
Oh,
still be able to
definitely.
see it. But I just wanted to, I had wanted to share this with as many people as possible so that they can see a young melanin man taking something that people look at as something negative and making
Hmm.
it into a completely positive outlook on life, because it's so encouraging, especially in this day and time. People need that kind of encouragement.
Yeah, and if I may share a story, like when I was first starting with the keeping it positive, there's and I always say every time I tell the story, there's a lounge here in Vegas that I won't give the name
Okay.
of, but it was an all black lounge, or majority black, I should
Mm-hmm.
say. And they was doing an open mic, and it was my turn. I got up on stage, and you know, I told a good opener joke about the lounge itself, and then I said, "Hey, my name is Andy Fez. I'm the first ever openly HIV positive born comedian." And that's when everybody just was like, "He's really going there?"
They like
So
gas, right? He was like,
yeah, exactly. So ever since then, I've learned that everybody won't accept
right,
it, but I know people will listen.
right,
So I always make sure I always tell my wife, like, even if certain people don't laugh, at least I know that somebody was listening, and somebody's going to go home. Excuse me. Somebody's going to go home and say, you know what? That comedian that was talking about HIV and AIDS was saying something, and I know insert person name here that might have HIV and might need to hear this.
Right.
So it's the goal is to not only entertain, as I said, it's the 3 E's: the entertain, empower, and educate. So I always try to make sure that all 3 of those E's are implemented whenever I, talk about HIV and AIDS.
Right. That's awesome, because it's sad that people have to walk on eggshells when they have certain type of conditions and illnesses, because people treat them indifferent. Just like someone who's homeless, they'll be treated indifferent, especially if they're homeless and they're on the street. I keep telling people, you got people that's walking around here homeless every day. They working on your jobs. They working your coworkers. They're your neighbors. You don't even realize that they're actually homeless, because they don't have the typical look of homelessness. Like, people will look at you, but because they have this idea of what someone should look like or supposed to look like who has HIV, when you tell them that, I think it stuns them, because they're trying to see a connection with your appearance to the condition that you have, and they can't see that. So it first,
I break all of their stigmas. I'm not super skinny. I'm not gay. So it's mind blowing to them whenever I tell them.
Yeah, it is. I'm quite sure it is, and that comes, but that even shows even further how much needed you are to continue to educate people and use your platform to bring awareness, because a lot of, just based on how people respond, a lot of people have responded to you. I'm quite sure more people have responded to you in a way that type of way, so there's still a lot of work to be done in educating people about HIV.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I had a comedian friend out here who I was driving him home one day, and he just randomly says, I think you should stop on HIV jokes. And I'm like, why? It was like, I'm not even joking about HIV. I'm telling my life with HIV. And he goes, well, it's making the audience uncomfortable. And I'm like, who voted you as, the spokesperson for the audience? Because I've been having a lot of achievements with going about, I've had a lot of, not even just like the audience itself, but like had a lot of friends come to me personally, even strangers, say, I really appreciate what you're doing. I know somebody that has it, or I was diagnosed with HIV and I didn't know how to handle it. So it's like, what people don't see off stage is like what really impacts me. Like, I even just made a Facebook status a couple of minutes ago saying that some dude from Uganda called me an angel on earth because I was speaking about something that he couldn't speak about. And it's just little things like that I could never imagine before starting Keeping It Positive that I would impact people like that.
Right. Yeah, because you don't. And that's why, like, I tell people sometimes things that happen to us, it's not even though we're the one that's experiencing it, it's not for us. It is to help others who will be experiencing it or is experiencing it, to help them navigate through that, especially because the biggest challenge with anybody who has a disease or condition like HIV or AIDS is being able to psychologically process it and be emotionally balanced, to be spiritually and mentally rooted and grounded and poised, because you already know, every day you wake up, you already know that you have this condition, right? And then on top of that, you know that people are not educated about it, so it's not something that you could just candidly talk about, or not candidly, casually talk about, because in a casual conversation, because it's going to make people uncomfortable and they're going to look at you sideways, and a lot of people will just automatically reject you as a person because you have this condition. And they can't even look past that.
I tell people, I'm like, in 2020, there are a bunch of comedians right now going on stage talking about a virus that's killing people that that people are afraid of.
Right.
And I'm like, welcome to my world as a comedian. I've been doing this for a while now, and now everybody wants to do the same exact thing. So it's like, if we can talk about COVID, if we can talk about cancer, diabetes, why can't HIV talk about? There's millions of people with HIV.
Exactly. But you know what, too? You said something very powerful. But guess what, though? HIV ain't going around killing people like this COVID, though, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
If I touch you, I'm not gonna get COVID. You cough on me, I ain't gonna get no COVID. But guess what? Somebody in the supermarket or in the line cough on you that have COVID, and you inhale that. Guess what? You might get COVID. You have a greater chance of getting COVID than somebody that somebody who has HIV coughing on you. Somebody cough on you with COVID.
Exactly.
That's instant contamination. Somebody cough on you with HIV. That's not instant contamination because
that's just rude.
It's not even going into your bloodstream in no form or fashion. So it's not something that you would breathe and inhale. Hi everyone, thanks for watching. Yeah. I'm trying to see who that is. Oh hey,
hello.
So it's a big. It's just like that. Just goes to show the power of media and the power of someone just constantly drilling something in your head, and there's an idea and there's a concept, and just saying this is like this is like that, and how it's so easy.
Now I gotta hold on, let me cover my name there because I gotta protect the whole media name because I don't say it's media. I think it's just ignorance being spread.
Right, ignorance being spread. So and then you have people who don't even know anything about anything. They don't even know their ancestry, but they are experts in HIV and AIDS. That's that gay man disease. That's that gay lady disease. That's that homosexual. It has never ever been about homosexuality. As a matter of fact, if that's the case, then all of the people in Africa, because that's still the #1 continent that has a high count of HIV, and shockingly, this would shock a lot of people. I think it's China that's next. What is it, China or? I think it is China. It's a lot, but you notice they don't really put China on the map about it. It's really hush hush, but they're quick to talk about it with Africans. So it just goes to show you have to be careful with what you hear in media because in certain medias, because they like to manipulate things and get people, thinking a certain way to program a person. And I tell people, you get programmed. People are more easily programmed than a computer. A computer is hard to program, but you can program a person just like that. And it's hard. It's hard for them to be unprogrammed. A computer, you can unprogram a computer. You can just remove the program and wipe out the motherboard. But you can't do that with people's mind because once it's planted in there, it's really hard for it to come out because that's what they've been taught. It's been drilled in them, and it's going to always be in the back of their mind, even if they have come to terms with that's not the truth. But because it has been taught to them for so long, it still be subconsciously in the back of their mind.
And I think that's why, as I mentioned, I don't always get everybody on board whenever I, tell my jokes. And I think a little bit of that is because people have been, like you said, programmed with these things, these stigmas of HIV and AIDS that they can't fathom. Some people think I'm lying. I tell them I was born with it. I'm like, all these pills that I took, I beg to differ. So, they just can't fathom that somebody is on stage breaking what they originally had an idea of HIV as.
Right. And so, that's why I tell people, you got the power, the power of the mind is unexplainable, because when people can manipulate you and trick you to think some kind of way, you become desensitized to anything other than that. You cannot, it's not that, I've learned that it's not only lack of willfulness, but some people can't even get to the point of having the will or having a willingness
Mm-hmm.
to learn differently because they're so tuned in, so locked in, and so completely desensitized to anything else other than what they have been exposed to, what they have been taught, and what's
Mm-hmm.
been drilled into their heads and into their minds for experience and stuff for the longest. So yeah, making that transition for some people it's not easy, and it can make some people uncomfortable. But I'm just like, people
Mm-hmm.
can make jokes about coronavirus all day long, and nobody uncomfortable about that though.
Nobody bats an
People,
eye.
they
Yep.
still they still making jokes about it on Facebook. I be seeing it in my news feed. I'm like, they still making jokes about the coronavirus. Nobody, feeling no kind of way really about that. You don't see people going in about that. But then if you make a joke about HIV, people got all kinds of they just
Or my thing was, and I think it really pushed me doing stand up. I like to say keeping it positive material rather than HIV
right.
jokes. Is that whenever I see jokes on HIV and AIDS, it's usually wrong information. So I'm
Yeah.
like, that's why I'm really pushing the whole education factor because it's like you're telling these jokes that for one they're not funny and two it's not even true. Like there was one I saw, it was Michael Jordan guarding Magic Johnson, and they was calling Michael Jordan the bravest man to ever play basketball because he was. They said something that if Magic Johnson would sweat on him, Michael would get HIV, and it's like
Right, right,
that's not true. Where are you getting this information
right,
from?
right, right. Hi, thanks for watching, everyone. Somebody else just came in. I can't see.
Hey, hey,
That's
I'm not sure who Shopper Star is, but hey,
but that's again with the education and the misinformation because what it is, we know sweat comes out the pores, and so there's
mm-hmm,
substances and sweat gets into you, it gets into your pores, it's going to automatically get into your bloodline. That is the truth. If that's the
mm-hmm,
case, then all of us should have COVID-19, the
we should have
coronavirus, because
everything.
we all been around people
Mm-hmm.
that sweat. We sweat. The coronavirus is supposed to be one of these viruses just be lurking around in the air. So if you're sweating in any
Mm-hmm.
kind of way, capacity, or you get hot, your body temperature is a certain temperature, then you should already have it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big misconception, and a lot of times people, what it is it's convenient and it's easier for people to just believe what they hear versus researching things out for themselves and actually finding out the truth for themselves, because a lot of people don't want to, it's not of their interest to find out the truth. They just rather just go with what's popular, what's been told, and just run with it. But I learned at an early age not to do that. Like I always, it's just like, and I know you can, I don't know, maybe you can or cannot relate to that, but I was raised in an extremely religious household. And um,
Mm-hmm.
I was raised in churches that tell you you're not allowed to question the pastor, you cannot question God, you can't question stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with this idea that you shouldn't ask questions because it's
Mm-hmm.
inappropriate. But as I got older and I learned better, I started doing better. I was like, okay, it's okay to ask questions and stuff. I'm like, you tell me like, why, there's certain things that you shouldn't question and certain things you should question. Why, if there's an answer that needs to be given, or if there's a better and more structured answer to something, you're not going to find out unless you either investigate it yourself or you ask questions. And even when you ask questions, you still have to research those answers to make sure you're getting the
Yeah.
correct information. Because a lot of people, they talk about things that they have no idea about. They don't have no
Mm-hmm.
true understanding and clarity about. Like you said, with the HIV and the AIDS, and how some comedians have made jokes about it, not even understanding how it's actually transmitted, and that you don't,
Mm-hmm.
just the ignorance of it. And people are gladly to display their ignorance, and that's the thing that scares
Yeah.
me. I'm more
Mm-hmm.
afraid of someone
Yeah.
being so profoundly bold and proud to display their stupidity and their ignorance and foolery, that someone who has COVID or HIV or anything. And I don't fear nobody who has any of those conditions because I feel like I'm protected. You know, and I'm not going to be putting myself in those situations that intentionally that can happen. But I could have been born with it too. Like that's why I keep telling people, my dad was a hoe. Part of my French, I could have been born with it. You know, he could have transmitted it to my mom.
Right.
So it's just like
Mhm.
we think we so safe from everything. You not safe from nothing these days because you can eat food.
Yeah.
Food be contaminated. You can't even go buy you a bag of rice because it might have plastic and maggots in it. You know, dry maggots. You don't realize till you cook it and it start moving around in your dang on pot.
Yeah. That's why I'm always open to especially on my social media to like questions because especially in the Black community we're told to shut up.
Right. Oh,
So even growing up, like I remember my first day of preschool. My mom was like, don't share with your friends that you have HIV, and as a preschooler I didn't know what she was talking about, but I guess she just didn't want me to tell them that I was sick or whatever, make them think that anything. So as I got older, same thing. My grandma would tell me, don't tell your friends what's going on with you, and I just be like, why? Because whenever my friends had sleepovers, I would clearly be taking medicine before I go to bed. So it's like they're gonna have questions.
right.
So why can't I answer these questions?
Because they know that children are very impressionable, but their parents is
Yeah.
on a different story because the first thing the children do, they'll go home and be like, Mom, guess what? My friend, you tell them not to tell. A lot of times you tell a child not to tell something, you're asking them to tell it because it's gonna be in their mind. I can't tell this. And out of curiosity, they're gonna wonder why. So what they're gonna do, they're gonna tell it just to
Yeah.
see what'll happen if they told. So
Yeah.
it's because they know that the parents would prevent their children from coming over anymore. And and you can end up not having friends and you have to grow up like you're
Yeah.
like you're a contagious person and stuff, and nobody wanted to be
Hmm.
like that, especially as a child. That could do so much
Yeah.
psychological damage and it caused so much psychological trauma and emotional trauma to a child. So it was a protective
Yeah.
mechanism, and I'm quite sure you understand that now being an adult.
Yeah. As an adult, I totally get it, but like, I'm thinking if I can reach out to like as an adult now, talking to people about HIV, if I can have adults learn, which is always even the most complicated people to
Yes.
to have understand stuff.
Hello, they are.
If I can have adults learn, then when it comes to HIV, it won't be so taboo to talk about to children. Like I got guy kids that I'm sure eventually they're gonna be like Uncle Brandon or Uncle Andy, because I'm Andy Feds,
Yes.
stand-up comedian. But they'll be like, Uncle Andy, why are you taking HIV, or why are you taking medicine? And then I have to explain to them,
Right.
Uncle Andy got this thing that. So it's like, and that brought me to I did an Instagram live video not too long ago where I was like, when is the right time to talk to children about HIV and AIDS? Because it's like, yeah, you want to make sure that they understand, but at the right time.
Mm-hmm. Right, at the right time. And children do ask a lot
Yeah.
of frequent questions. You can't just give
Yeah.
them half-hearted answers. Sometimes, even when you give them a half-hearted answer, they may walk away a little bit, but them little persistent rascals they're going to come back. They can be like, so you say you take it for your, because if you say, for instance, you just gave, well, I take it to keep healthy, to stay healthy.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, well, can I take one so I can stay healthy too? No, you can't take one.
That was me.
Well, I can't take one. If it's supposed to help you, well, it's for adults. It's only for adults.
Listen,
Children don't.
as a kid,
Yeah, they'll run off.
as a kid, my cousins used to always wonder why I take medicine, and they'd be like, "Well, can I try it?" And I was like, "This is nasty anyway." So here, so I'm kind of guilty of giving my cousins medicine that I didn't want, but as an adult, I kind of realized that was not a good thing to do.
No, that really wasn't a good thing to do. But I think everybody at some point in time may have snuck off and did something crazy like that or whatever. But guys, I'm just really glad that you taking this in a positive light and not allowing it to control your life. That's the thing. Like you're not allowing I won't say it because it's not an it. You're not allowing the ignorance of society, the willful ignorance that may I add of society
Yeah.
intimidate you and make you feel so uncomfortable or make you feel uncomfortable at all where you don't enjoy your life.
Yeah.
So, I commend
Yeah.
you on that for enjoying your life and living your life. I mean, like you got a whole life going on. You got your wife, honey. You got you a nice hot job. You doing comedy. You doing this keeping it positive movement. You educated people doing speaking engagement, educated people about HIV, and you're just continuing to blossom and grow and develop into this
Thank you.
phenomenal person more and more and more. And I really am so glad that you have the strength and the courage to do that. And other people seeing that, it would encourage them too because they'll see that there is hope, there is light on the other side of the tunnel, that they don't have to be in this box and they don't have to be closed in and have this stereotypical life. And you're welcome. They know. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story and some of your life journeys with it. And I didn't want to get into too much in that stuff, especially personal stuff. That's one thing I don't like to do, especially on a very first interview. I like to
I'm an
get.
open book always. Like I said, when it come to HIV and AIDS, I'm an open book because the goal is to educate people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and if you can let everyone know how they can follow you and how they can also book you for any
Likewise.
engagements.
Yeah. To follow me, everything is at Andy Feds Comedy, or YouTube is official Andy Feds, or just go to my website, andyfedscomedy.com, where you can find all the links and stuff. Especially to book me, things like that. It'll connect you to my email and send it to my manager as well.
Yes, yes. Mr. What's his name? Luis?
Juan
Juan?
Juan Lopez.
Juan
Yeah.
Lopez. What did I say? Luis? Where did I get Luis from? I don't know where I get that from. Juan.
I don't know. Juan Lopez.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lopez, honey. Forgive me. I don't know where I got that from. But I know that I get that from Lisa, Miss Lisa Ves Vesquez, her from Lisa Def Jam and stuff. So, but yeah,
Gotcha.
Lisa Vesquez, that's who I'm thinking about. But yeah, so I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing, some of your story with us, and so that people can have a better understanding of HIV and the difference between HIV and AIDS. And we'll definitely be, doing a follow-up interview later on in the
For sure.
future and stuff like that. And hopefully, like I said, once this COVID is open, hopefully we can get you here and you do like a conference or something or speaking engagement and get some people in, and then I will also reach out to Miss Holiday since that's one of the charities that she actually advocates for with as
Okay.
far as people with AIDS and HIV, so she's an advocate for that, and she her recent concert for her birthday she had a concert, and some of the proceeds went towards, that was one of the organizations that it went towards. So
Okay.
yeah, so I reach out to her as well and see if she'll be willing to perform and find out their fees. Everybody fees. Find out how much. I get this budget together. I got to make sure I can afford to pay everybody. So,
Oh, for sure. I totally get
yeah,
it.
so that's what I'll do, and we'll go from there. And I just really appreciate you. Thank you so very much. God bless you.
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome, and you take care. And
Right.
we'll definitely be
Talk to
in
you
touch.
later.
Okay.
Okay, for
All
sure.
right. Good night. You good. Thank you all so much for joining and watching us. And I'm telling you, he just really inspired me so much. He's so courageous, being such a young man, dealing with the things that he deals with, because he doesn't just deal with the physical aspects of it. He deals with it on an emotional basis too, and then he got to deal with the prejudiceness that he gets from people who think that he's a contagious human being because he has HIV and stuff. So he deals with a lot of stuff in life that we would probably never understand or never experience. Um, but yeah, just make sure you guys follow me on www.z for zebra, H for hotel, E for elephant, E for echo, N for November, LLC.com. And you can see everything that I'm engaged in on their website. Also, on that website, on my website, I'm going to be doing live stream on my actual website. So instead of you trying to go to this social media page, that social media page, everything is going to start being done directly on my website. Everything, all my um, live streams will be done on my website. So it'll be easy for you guys to just go there um, and see and watch, interviews and cook shows and anything else that I'm engaged in, because I've been doing a lot of stuff, a lot. But anyway, thank you all again. And please support my Glow Sewing campaign. That's on my website too. When you go there, it's right on the homepage. Just click on the flyer. It'll take you to the proper web page, and you can support by becoming a volunteer, purchasing the 2021 Glow Sewing campaign calendar, signing the Glow Sewing campaign petition, and or make a donation. And the Glow Sewing campaign is me advocating for those who battle chronic illnesses and diseases like HIV, and AIDS, lupus, um, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, and the list goes on and on. And that also have disabilities. So that's what I do with my advocacy mission. So please go on and be a support, share it, and let your friends and family know about it, especially those who may be battling any type of chronic illness or diseases or disabilities that please send them to my website to sign a petition, because the more signatures I get, I have to get a certain amount of signatures first before I can present it to the U.S. State Senate to talk with them about getting a Support Act bill passed for those battling chronic illnesses and diseases and that have disabilities. Because what they do now is not nowhere near good enough, and not only that, but about 90%, I'd say 99% of people with chronic what they call invisible chronic illness diseases, like I have, because I don't look sick, as they say, I don't look sick. Hey, Pat Man, thanks for watching. They will automatically assume, oh, she's fine, because I don't have the typical look of someone who battles chronic illnesses and diseases and disabilities. They would just push me to the side, but I struggle on so many levels on a daily basis, just doing basic things like going to the bathroom, going to fix a bowl of oatmeal or cereal, or just trying to fix a sandwich to eat, open a bottle of water, simple things. A lot of people with chronic illness diseases are battling from those type of conditions, and they don't receive the help because they don't look sick. So please make sure you sign my petition on the website. The website again is www.z for zebra, H for hotel, E for elephant, E for echo, N for November, LLC.com. And like I said, just click on the flyer, and it'll take you to that web page, and you can select which option you want in as far as ways to help in supporting this advocacy mission that I have. And I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Let's see. Thank you so much, Pat Man. Love you all too. I've missed you guys. I haven't been able to really come out and stuff like I want to, but when I get well enough, I'll be back out there. See, I can cover it up and make it look good on the outside because I do my own nails, I do my own everything else, make my own clothes. So I make it look easy. But when I get off this camera, y'all breathe for me. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your support and for your unconditional love and for just being there for me. I am so proud of everybody that's out there striving to make their dreams come true, striving to live their best life. I'm so proud of you guys. Yes, yes. So you all take care. God bless, one love, peace. And I'm out like a light. Supposed to be if it lets me out because you never want to let me go. Instagram never want to.